Good afternoon, folks. Thank you for joining Arctic IT's webinar. Are you ready to move up to the latest ERP technology? We are excited to have our very own pre-sales solution architect, Matt Borkowski, presenting for us today. Let us welcome Matt.
All right, thanks, Joanne. And glad to have everyone who's attending today. Thanks for making the time and look forward to this action-packed presentation. That being said, we do have a lot of information to present on the topic of the latest ERP technology. So appreciate you all being here, and let's dive right in. I will do my best to leave some time at the end to cover questions. So with that, why don't we start talking about being ready to move to the latest ERP technology. Now, I know a number of the folks that are joining us today are existing Arctic IT customers, and we're appreciative of your partnership with us. Glad that you're attending with us today. But for those of you that maybe haven't heard in a while or are new to Arctic IT, I want to give you a brief introduction of who we are and what makes us an experienced solution provider. We have the backing of and stability of a large organization, and we're going to show you that a little bit this morning. We are experienced at executing on our projects and delivering the best technology solutions for our customers. And after that is done, we don't go away. We are a strong teammate for the long term, and we only invest in strong partnerships with our customers. We're proud to have that with many today. The name Arctic IT does come from the fact that we were born in Alaska, hence the dot up there, but we are now a full national company. All the 6 stars that you see there are current operation centers, and we have customers in 31 states, Washington, DC, and Canada. And again, appreciative of many of our customers that are attending the webinar today. Now, that stability, I mentioned the backing of a strong financial foundation, comes from the fact that we are a subsidiary of the Doyon Alaska Native Corporation. Doyon Alaska Native Corporation is the central region of Alaska, headquartered in Fairbanks, Alaska there, and Julie and Aaron are our corporate leadership along with our Alaska Native board there from Doyon. We are proud to be a subsidiary and proud to be Alaska Native owned. From an execution and technical perspective, we have been a Microsoft Gold partner for over 15 years, which is extensive certification and revenue and other requirements from Microsoft that we've been proud to meet over this whole time. On the right there, you see the plethora of competencies that we have to maintain, and our talented team of consultants stays up on those every day. We like to say we've climbed this mountain before. We've been implementing technology for almost 20 years now, with a strong focus in the financial area, which is where we're focusing today. But outside of that, we can demonstrate working competencies in every major component of the latest Microsoft Cloud platforms, including Dynamics 365, which is our focus for today, Office 365, and the secure Microsoft Azure Cloud. We have current deployments for tribal governments, the tribal casinos, commercial clients, and everything from Alaska on down, and we're excited for the opportunity to continue to do that in the Microsoft Cloud for our customers. And we are proud of the fact that annually we have received many awards from Microsoft as well, nationally as well as in Alaska. We continue to receive this recognition due to the great work that we've been doing for our phenomenal customers. But our focus for today is on the financial systems. Are you ready for the latest in ERP technology? And in that, our team focuses, of course, on financial management with the financial reporting, budgeting, consolidations, invoicing, billing, and everything on the accounts receivable and procurement and payable side. But then taking that a step further with project management and grant management, contract management and compliance, the things that are becoming more and more a key focus for our customers. Expanding into inventory and supply chain and enterprise retail and point of sale deployments. Business intelligence, that the dashboards that everyone loves to see now, Microsoft's really expanding the functionality for that, and we are excited to be on the forefront. And then the human capital management, HRIS systems, payroll, all of that embedded in the financial systems that we'll be talking about today. So those systems are what we call Dynamics 365, or what Microsoft calls Dynamics 365. I know a number of you have spoken with us about this already, but to set the playing field, of what is Dynamics 365 and why should you consider it really starts with wondering and looking at, are you outgrowing your current accounting system? And what are key indicators of the fact that that you are? And we're seeing that a lot of this starts with siloed systems, that ERP solutions now need to be more than just accounting systems. And when you're looking at your current environment, you see where you have data in multiple places that you need access to that impact your ability to manage operations and report on that effectively. So you have information that's just stuck in its own system or for a single department that doesn't benefit the entire organization. And because of that, you have information that you need in multiple systems, so that gets duplicated. Duplicate entry, a lot of extra work, which spills over into manual processes. Whether you're funneling a lot of things through email and paper, and then having to type it into multiple places, just relying on so many manual systems and processes rather than the latest technology to help you with that. And all of that then provides the symptoms of insufficient reporting. We're not able to get that information from the multiple systems into ways that are really usable and provide those valuable insights to the organization. But at the key of every technology implementation nowadays, you really have to be focused on the security issues. And what sort of security is being offered by your current platform? What security risks and issues do you have? These being some of the 5 most common areas that we're seeing and frustrations that we're helping customers grow out of with a new solution. And we'd love to get some of your feedback. So on which areas of this are some of the most concerning for you in your current system. So with that, we do have a poll that should be popping up for you here shortly in the GoToMeeting, allowing you to select which of these is your biggest challenge. So we'll just take a quick minute to allow folks to do so, and then we'll dive right back in. I see right now the most commonly selected item so far is manual processes, and I can completely understand and see that and appreciate those of you that are taking a minute to fill that out. And that really speaks to what we'll be covering in the rest of this, and will allow me to coordinate and change a few aspects to make it most impactful. All right, so thank you again for taking the time to do so. And we did have manual processes as the largest selector. So as Microsoft took a look at these items, at these 5 things, and looked at how do you address that, they said it's more than just updating and modernizing accounting systems. We really have to look at the platform as a whole that these are on. And that is where Dynamics 365 was born. Now, when you want to know, you ask what is Dynamics 365? If you allow me to use a few buzzwords here from Microsoft just to set the tone a little bit. Microsoft's goal was to unify your customer relationship and other business applications and the ERP capabilities to break down those data silos using Dynamics 365. Which is a modern, intelligent cloud applications that help you move your business forward. And where that manual processes really come into play is using D365 allows you to truly realize digital transformation. That digital transformation truly is a buzzword right now, but that is taking those manual processes, using those in a digital format to on modern technology to get out of those manual processes and to transform your business through the digital applications. And the applications that are part of Dynamics 365, with D365 being that key platform with multiple applications. We have sales and service, which would be more of that customer relationship management, the CRM capabilities, and how you service and provide services and products to your customers. Your finance and operations are focused for today. That is the financial and ERP components. Talent is the HRIS, that human capital management application that interfaces directly with finance and operations to give you a unified view and feel for the HR and payroll and finance components. Marketing being how do you interface, you send the brand recognition and improve that with your current customers and prospective customers. And then enterprise retail being a true point of sale solution on a large scale using Microsoft Dynamics 365 for retail. So those 5 key application components are all part of Dynamics 365 that are on what is called a common data model, which really just breaks down that need for duplicate records, which means that a customer can be a customer in a single customer record, can be a customer in the sales and service, the marketing, the retail, the finance and operations, or an employee in talent, finance, all those areas where you're not having to duplicate that data across multiple systems. And it's embedded in Office 365 and Power BI. So for those that are using Microsoft Excel, of course, Outlook, Office, all those things, that D365 really becomes part of that suite to allow a lot of great functionality and usage in Microsoft Office directly for the Dynamics 365 applications. And it's all on the secure Microsoft Azure cloud, which meets and exceeds almost all federal regulations for security, and more folks in taking a look at their system as well as what Microsoft offers with Microsoft Azure. They're seeing that Azure really is the most secure option for moving to the cloud, and even more secure than most organizations can have on premise. But the topic for today really was to focus on the ERP, the finance and accounting functionality of Dynamics 365. And what we'll see today are the 2 different versions of ERP available in Dynamics 365. The first of which is Business Central, which is the newest small to medium business offering on the market today. And it is based on Dynamics NAV. Now, when Microsoft was looking at how do we offer our best, most modern cloud-based solution for our customers, they said starting with a brand new from scratch system is going to put us years behind, and is the same struggle that a lot of cloud applications have had now, where starting from scratch, you have a very small amount of features available, and they're more error prone, and there's been some struggle for a lot of cloud ERP solutions there, where Microsoft took the best of what they already had in their Dynamics solution, modernized that, and re-envisioned it and redeployed it in the cloud, and started adding a lot more functionality to it. So with Dynamics 365, they're able to offer a much larger set of functionality and great tools right out of the gate that have taken years and years for a lot of other cloud applications to try and catch up with. Now, Business Central is optimized for quick use of your core financials, as well as inventory distributions, project management, and providing great analytics and dashboards using Power BI. It does not have HR and payroll embedded in it, so it does require a third-party HR and payroll application. We'll move into the more enterprise class ERP offering, Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. It is really designed for 50 plus users with complex operations, and it has a 20-user minimum. But it is a full-featured multi-entity, multi-consolidations with full budget planning and reporting, allow you to create some great budget plans, forecast reports across multiple entities all at once. It has full supply chain and government operations, as well as for-profit for casino operations and other things there. And it's got full suite of HR and payroll tools and a lot more there. So it's great for tribes, again, large enterprises, that are looking to manage their entire operation on one ERP system. You're securely segregated across the multiple companies, multiple lines of businesses as needed, but allowing all of that within one suite so that the top level CFOs and those can get a great look of the entire organization at one time. So we're going to start this afternoon talking about Business Central. Business Central, while being designed and right-sized for SMBs, it does have a full suite of functionality beyond financial management and the core financials there, but with full project and job costing and job management, sales and service for the types of services and interactions that you have with your customers, detailed reporting and analytics, and that's supply chain, so managing your inventory, your warehouse, all that right inside the application. And member management, providing utilities, other sorts of services where you have memberships and all that, the ability to manage those and invoice and bill and manage those relationships with your customers, and of course the full financial management. And beyond just the core suite of functionality that you use with the system, it's also how you use it. And D365 being a secure cloud application starts enabling a lot of mobile technology for you to make best use of your application while on the go or just around your property, so you don't have to be at your desk to get some work done. So using a full Windows, iOS, or Android app, you can approve transactions, submit expense reports, you can run financial statements, you can even start new purchase orders or review and approve purchase orders or other true financial transactions right inside the app. So you can continue to do that, stay productive while not sitting at your desk, and enable your team to do even more. We talked about the Microsoft Office functionality within Dynamics 365. Well, with Business Central, you can do that. You can use the solution right from inside of Outlook. So if you got an email from a customer right from Outlook, you could check the balance of that customer or see what your current outstanding POs are for a vendor. You could take an attachment from that and put it in an accounts payable queue, again, right from your email, or send it for approval through Dynamics 365 and track that without having to leave email and switch and copy and paste and enter that information into Dynamics 365. So we'll see an example of what that queue looks like here in just a little bit. So while I've been talking quickly to get through this for a while, why don't we switch gears here and actually dive into the application so you can see what it looks like and get a feel for that functionality. All right, so right now I'm logging into Dynamics 365 Business Central. And when I get in here, it's telling me it recognizes who I am, of course, by my login. And I can see my Business Central homepage here. Now, over on the right, we have what we call the waffle, and this allows you to see the other functions or other applications that you have with your Office 365 or Dynamics 365 subscription. So I could switch over into the sales and service functionality right here. I can go into the other Office applications that I have licensed. So it gives you that seamless feel. You're not having to log in and log out to access other areas of D365 or Office 365. It is all part of that same user experience. So once I've logged in and I'm seeing my homepage, I could start having access to see what's going on in the organization. It has a ticker of different things letting me know based upon insights, based upon the AI in the system of what's been happening. So it lets me know what we've sold the most of in the past week, or where our highest revenue stream is coming from right there. Shows me different charts and graphs or tickers of information that I want to see. So when I log in, I've got a dashboard of my most important information. But that being said, like my overdue purchases, I see that, look, we've got 50,000 of outstanding AP right now. By clicking on this, it's going to take me to all of those invoices so I can get more information and maybe take action on those right from here. They're not just static dashboards. It also has access to my most commonly used items right here, these activities. Takes me to the various types of transactions that I use most often. But you can see they're kind of big buttons. And part of that is just a modern look and feel, but that means it also works very well with touchscreen interfaces. Whether you have a touchscreen laptop or a tablet that you use quite a bit, this enables a lot of good touchscreen interface. You can use the system, again, while on the go easily without having to have multiple different types of interfaces to learn and use. Embedded in this as well as product videos, because Microsoft knows that, look, when folks want to get training on something and there's a feature they haven't used before, how many people go out to Google or YouTube and pull up some videos on that right now? So Microsoft just embeds those right inside the application. So if you wanted to look at creating a job and setting up the project cost or running year-end closing, doing a journal entry, things like that, you got the videos right inside the system to make refreshing your training and things much easier. As we continue to scroll down, we see some of the dashboards and Power BI type things that we talked about in the past. In this case, I just said, I get to choose which ones I want. There's a number of them available out of the box. I said, just show me my top 5 customers. So I can maybe call, thank them, see where we are in these. But while I can see those functions and everything here, they are interactive as well. So if I wanted to take a look at what we're doing with John Hadcock as our largest customer recently, I can come in here and see any of the ongoing sales orders that we have or outstanding invoices currently. Maybe our latest shipments or other invoices that we've done with them, other credit memos, and get a good snapshot of where we are with our biggest customer right now. We do the same thing with vendors or other areas in the system to be able to keep quick track of what's going on all at our fingertips, as well as our favorite accounts. If you're in charge of really managing your and reconciling your cash accounts, your receivables, payables, that sort of thing, you can pick your favorite accounts and just have those on your dashboard. So every day when you come in, or every time this refreshes, it shows you what your balance are in these accounts as of right now. And then you could drill in to see, of course, all the transactions behind that right from this window. Trial balance as well. You can build out and you'll show me a very quick income statement right here at any point so I can see how we're doing, or a balance sheet, any sort of report that you want. Similarly, if I want to run just a quick financial statement, like an income statement, more of a formatted one. Now this will be a very simple, sort of out of the box, but it's got great tools for personalizing and customizing the formats of these, so you can build out the types of financial statements that your organization needs. And these are not only usable from inside the application, but they are usable from the from the mobile application as well. So you can run financial statements with a few clicks in the mobile app without them having to be generated a PDF and emailed to you or anything like that. And some of the self-service sort of functionality. So if you have users that need to submit expense reports, or maybe some job costing, sort of time and materials items that need to impact your that would impact your projects that you have going on, those are all available in here. Or if you have requests to approve, so invoices or purchase orders or anything that has been sent for you to approve, all those workflows are available inside the system. And you could, again, approve them inside the application from your email or from the mobile app. Take a look at some of the additional information in here. Like, what does it look like to just open up a vendor? Just a standard thing, something that we use all the time in here. You can see that not only do I see my list of vendors and run my similar reports, but it also has Power BI reports to show me our trends and things for any vendor that we have selected in there. Or down below, by highlighted on a vendor, I can see my outstanding invoices, my current balance with any of these, what our year-to-date amounts have been, to be able to dive in and get more information with a quick click of a button, without having to go through a lot of different menus to run different reports or inquiries. Again, having this all right up front. So we see this for customers, items, all through your GL accounts, all throughout the application. And I also talked about the idea of an incoming document, or a queue for accounts payable. It is one way of doing that. So I can take a look at my incoming documents if I'm someone that is part of that workflow. So what this might mean is you can set up an email address. Let's say it's ap@arctic.com. And when invoices come in to that, it can automatically pick that up and add it to a queue here for processing. Or it can be done manually, where you get an email, and using the Business Central app, you just say, add this to my incoming documents. And then it takes that attachment and it creates an incoming file for that. So I'm going to open up this one that I had sent over earlier. There's a few things that we'll see on this. First, it just gives it a description, which would be the name of the attachment, and I can see the actual attachment that came in if I want to open and view what was on the actual invoice. But we also see this OCR status. With this, you can hook up an OCR service that will read the optical character recognition. Excuse me, that's what reads information off of a PDF or a scanned document and brings in what it can. So with that, if you have a queue set up, it can perform that OCR status and bring in information that it can read off of that, like who the vendor is, what the phone number and address, your due dates, maybe document dates, total amounts from those invoices, and even let you know if there are any issues with this. But we see that it was successful, and with that, it has created the actual invoice record inside of Dynamics 365. So when I click to open that, excuse me, I can see this is the actual invoice now of here's the GL accounts that are coded to and the amounts for that, what was taxable and what wasn't. Maybe in this case, these were non-taxable items. I can see my totals down here at the bottom, some of the other information, and most of this, again, it was able to read right off of that document. And from here, if I needed to request approval before this was posted and paid, I could start that right from here, or I could have started that from inside the email application. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. I don't want to post it or send it for approval at this time. But that's part of the queue that until this gets approved and posted will stay out there letting me know that here's my invoice, which action needs to be taken on. And those sort of, so there you can start to see how those manual processes with modern technology can become less and less of an issue with utilizing some of the greatest and latest functionality in a modern platform like Dynamics 365. If you currently are a Microsoft Dynamics customer, where you've been using Dynamics GP or another on-premise Microsoft Dynamics accounting system, they are offering a couple of different transition offers to make it a little bit easier for folks to make the move right now. So for the next couple of years, almost exactly through June 30th of 2021, at a minimum, if your plan is about to end, for instance, your current plan that you have with Microsoft for your Dynamics, that at a minimum you can have a 40% discount on the Dynamics Business Central licensing, for the next couple of years to make that initial investment a little bit easier. As well as if you're just in the middle of your plan, they do have a transition offer that that for a while your users can get as many users as you need for $20 a month, which is more like a 60 to 70% discount rather than 40%. Again, because you've made the investment in Dynamics and you've been paying for your renewals with that, Microsoft makes it easier for you to transition to the latest Dynamics 365 through some of these transition offers. All right, so now that we've seen and talked about Dynamics 365 Business Central, we'll move into the more enterprise class ERP offering, Dynamics 365 for finance and operations. So Dynamics 365, the look and feel of it for finance and operations, is definitely different than what we saw with Business Central. It has the idea of user-tailored workspaces to help bring the most commonly used functions for the different areas of the system, like budget planning and formulation or bank management, those things, which we'll see in a little bit, and easy to use interfaces. And those same workspaces, then many of which can be enabled on a mobile application, again, to make that look and feel easier and that transition to use it while at your desk or on the go that much more helpful. Just like Business Central, it's got the full Microsoft Office, one of my favorite Microsoft words that they've been using a lot lately, interoperability, where you can use Office and D365, whether you're in Office, in D365, kind of that combined look and feel to make it a seamless use across those applications. You have very extensive business intelligence and reporting, again, with Power BI really at the core of that, which we'll see some of those dashboards in a minute. But it also allows you to extend Dynamics 365 with good third-party options for maybe some specific features that you don't need or that aren't available out of the box. But the need for that is very small because there's so much functionality available with Dynamics 365. When we look at the financial management, a lot of the things you would expect to have, right? General ledger, bank management, reconciliation, AP and AR, but it's got extensive grant and project management. You have very in-depth fixed assets functionality, the inventory control to allow management of multiple warehouses, movement of those items, full warehouse management and inventory control are available. Even extending out to travel management, the ability for folks to submit travel requests and to have those go through a workflow to be approved. And then even to have pre-trip payments made so they have the cash that they need in order to cover some of those per diem expenses. And when they come back, be able to submit, or from their phone, be able to submit the receipts and expense reports matched up to those travel requests for final expense report processing when they get back. Just things that oftentimes in legacy systems have required many third-party additions are all part of and available and easy to use cloud application like finance and operations. It's got a very flexible chart of accounts to allow the combination of gaming, for-profit, nonprofit, and government, all operations within one system that can have the different chart of accounts necessary to support the different types of businesses, then consolidate that together at a top level where needed. Budget planning and formulation, where it's got a full business and budget planning and forecasting functionality built in, so users can come into that web-based portal to submit their budget request for their departments or divisions, including justifications and attachments for why maybe they're requesting some capital projects, and all of that integrated with HR and payroll, as well as grants and other budget areas of the system. And those are go beyond a single year. You can do that across multiple years. Procurement and sourcing, we're starting with the requisition all the way through contract and blanket pricing agreements, the ability to have vendor catalogs in the system and available, and even external catalogs where it's hooked up to their website, so you can go and shop on that system and then on their website and have that create the requisition or purchase order for you once you're done with your shopping, and that has to be approved and sent to them before the order is placed. All kinds of the latest technology that's available, starting on the requisition side and then fully moving through approved purchase orders, the receiving of those items to invoices when they come in, and have approvals on that if you desire. You can make sure that you're only paying for what is approved and has actually been provided and received. And then the multi-year project accounting, where it's got a full project module inside the system that is tied to Microsoft Project. So if you have project managers that are using Microsoft Project or Excel or those things to develop a full work breakdown structure, well, that can all come into the system so that you can track your capital projects and your costs by individual milestones or activities as part of that. Or if your business provides project work for customers, they need to capture all the activities that are happening on that project to then bill back to the customer based upon your service agreements. That is all available inside of the project accounting. And it ties that to grants as well on the not-for-profit side. So you can track your projects that are funded by grants and report back to your funding sources on all the activities that are taking part of that. And then taking a step outside of the financial area in and of itself is also the D365 for talent, which is that true human capital management, which allows you to start with the attract, which is the recruiting, application management, fully integrated with LinkedIn and other places in order to bring in the best folks for your organization. And once that hiring decision has been made, to onboard them most effectively into the organization so they can quickly manage the tasks that they need to be ready to work. And then once they are an employee, be able to grow with them from review processes, training, goals and performance management, all that good stuff in a application that allows them to access via self-service for selecting their benefit programs, as well as submitting their own or interacting with their managers through manager self-service for reviews and other key items like that. And then just your core day-to-day HR administrative functions like leave management, all those things, to then have great people analytics, great reporting, dashboards, all that fully interfaced into the payroll side in finance and operations to make sure that your employees are paid properly and on time. All right, so now that we've been talking about finance and operations for a little while, just like we did with Business Central, why don't we take a moment to dive into finance and operations. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and you can do this in both applications, where because it's a modern browser-based tool here, if I need to make the text bigger, if I need to zoom in or zoom out to do that, you got that full functionality on just about any browser. So you see that right now I am using Google Chrome as my preferred browser, but whether you're using Internet Explorer, Edge, Firefox, or Safari on a tablet, that sort of thing, it is browser agnostic to allow you to use your favorite browser to utilize the application. So while I'm in finance and operations here, what we see here are those user-tailored workspaces that I made reference to earlier. Now, because I'm a power user, I see all of them, but an individual user would only see the items or the areas of the system that they have access to. But to get a feel for what a workspace might look like, I'm just going to click on the first one here, and that's bank management. And the workspace is that area where it's bringing together the reports, the actions, the dashboards of a singular area in the system to allow the most user-friendly and quickest access to the most commonly used features. So for instance, dashboards, as we talked about earlier. If I want to see If I'm in charge of some of my balance reporting, that sort of thing, I might come in here and say, okay, let's pick the bank account that I'm in charge of reconciling, and I can see here's a graph of here's what our bank balance has been doing over the past number of months. And if I want to, but these aren't just static reports or nice looking graphs, these are interactive. So if I see here, where's the spike come from? Why were we so high here a few months ago? I can drill down and it will show me that day, and I can see that we had a $406,000 deposit. So that was why we had that spike on that day. I can continue to drill down and say, okay, well, that was a deposit slip. Let's see everything that was on it. The deposit slip one, how about the invoices that paid? I can go further to see which customer it came from, which invoices they were paying, and continue to drill down through the application to make the most of the banking area. But also right from here, I can look at my analytics. I could see some additional dashboard information that I might have access to as it processes that Power BI query, which you might have seen come up. This one is a little bit hard to see via the go-to meeting, but it's a quick example of how I could see my bank balances across multiple companies at one time. In this case, I'll go ahead and select some of my others, or which bank accounts. Is it all of them? Is it just one of them? That sort of thing. And I can continue to process and make these changes to be able to see and then drill through into other reports as needed. It's also an area where I could import my bank statement from my bank, so it can automatically electronically reconcile the cleared checks or items that it is able to match based upon the criteria I've given it. And over here, for instance, I can create bank transfers, other sorts of transactions, which I'd maybe have to go to different windows through in a legacy system. But now it brings all of this together in a user-tailored workspace. And what we can see up here is if I have access under options, I can personalize this form to add different fields, reports, things that make most sense for our organization at the banking level, and then those can be published or made available to everyone that uses the bank management side here, again, to make the system most usable for an individual organization. Now, beyond the workspaces, some other examples of a dashboard, for instance, is just this CFO overview. And as a CFO of an organization, you might want to see, show me areas of, at the top level, from one company, legal entity, maybe it's all of them, maybe it's just some of my individual entities or businesses. So you can combine and have graphs, charts, get your latest information that you need from a combination of departments, divisions, businesses, all that for true multi-entity processing and reporting all in one spot. And I could go to the specific finance areas or see how we're doing on the sales side or the banking side. These same dashboards that are available for the individual users of certain areas of the application, but it brings all that together, in the CFO overview as just an example of how the dashboard functionality works. Since D365 is fully enabled with Power BI, which Gartner rates year after year as one of the best, if not the best, business intelligence tool out there, it allows you to create all kinds of great dashboards and embed those either in the application or using them outside of it using Power BI to make the most of your Dynamics 365 environment. But one thing we highlighted earlier that we saw just a bit of in the slide deck was all the types of functionality that are available with the system, like AP and AR, budgeting as we talked about. Then you start to get into other areas like credit and collections, being able to have a full credit and collections module to be able to send letters at periodic intervals or emails to customers that are out of balance, assess your finance charges and interest, and walk through, create cases as customers have requests or other things that come in to truly manage the credit and collections aspect of that. Expense management, as we talked a little bit about earlier, to be able to submit travel requests and expense reports and cash advances and all of that, bringing that together to make that not only easy to set up to begin with, but reconcile upon their return. Or integrating from your credit card, your purchase cards or those sorts of things, any purchases that don't have matched receipts for, so that your owners of those purchase cards need to submit receipts to match to each of those expenses that were on the credit card before that gets processed and that credit card bill paid. You have full fixed assets, fleet management. You have company vehicles, the ability for employees to make reservations of those and manage some of the, a simple maintenance routine for those vehicles. Obviously, your GL, HR, inventory management, as we talked about. Master planning gets into the manufacturing area of the system. So as some of our customers are looking to diversify or do other things, especially on the tribal side out of just gaming, we see manufacturing becoming a growing way of diversification. You're having a system like this that allows you to grow into that and manage your manufacturing processes inside of that without having to implement a new system is a real heads up for a lot of folks that have made the investment in D365. And then getting down into things like transportation management, if you're doing a lot of shipping and receiving of goods to customers and vice versa. Retail, that point of sale piece that we talked earlier, even down into vendor collaboration. You're establishing a vendor portal where vendors can submit invoices, can receive purchase orders, can submit bids for RFQs that can all be managed through the vendor collaboration portal that's available with D365. Now, some of that we also look at just the general functionality of the system. Like how do I make use of it? We showed the embedded videos and stuff earlier. Well, finance and operations even takes that a step further. That allows you to record task guides, which rather than just watching a video and then trying to duplicate that process while you're watching it, it allows you to record doing a process and then walks other users through it. So a great example of that, I have one ready to go, is just how do you run a trial balance? Something that maybe a new staff accountant is on board, they need to know how to run a trial balance in the system. You could have your whole library of things which, as part of our implementation, we help you build. And I say I'm going to open up a task guide. In this case, I have my GL trial balance task guide that's out here. And once I start that process, kind of goes into a play mode and it lets me know what do I need to do. So it says, go to the general ledger, inquiries and reports, which I see right here, and trial balance. And once I go to trial balance, it recognizes that I'm there and it moves and guides me through what fields do I fill out and how do I need to do that. In this case, it's fairly self-explanatory, but you need to pick your starting date. I'll just leave that for the first quarter of this year. Pick our ending date. And then we need to pick our financial dimension set. Financial dimension set in D365 is the order of the segments of your chart of accounts, the different ways that transactions are coded in the system that allows you to report on them in different ways. If you've used different areas of Dynamics in the past, maybe you call that a tree, that sort of thing that says, look, I want to first have it calculate the balance by fund, then division, and then the object. But there's you can build out an unlimited number of hierarchies or different ways that these are organized. So you can get your reports in any fashion that you want. So once I've picked, need to make my selection, it tells me simply click calculate balances. So now it not only walked me through how to do it, I actually did it. So I've performed the action while being guided through it, and those task recordings are a great way for doing user training, user testing, and working through both on the implementation and after the fact to help guide new employees or help you remember how to do things that maybe you only do periodically. So then once that's open, for instance, if I want to know, okay, where does this $5,300 come from? Rather than just being a static balance, trial balance that you've printed and you have to look through now, this is an interactive guide where I can look at these and even go and see the original invoices that this came from. You can see the vendor, the amount, see the description of what is there, see the details, and actually open up the invoice. Or if I had an attachment of that, you can see up here it says 0 because I didn't have an attachment associated with that. You can drill all the way down to see the information as to where that amount came from on your trial balance. And that drill down functionality is available throughout almost all areas of the system. So we've had the opportunity now to see Business Central. We've had the opportunity at a high level to see finance and operation and just get a feel for how using a modern application, using a modern fully functional system like Dynamics 365 can help you address those siloed systems as it interfaces with all of the different application areas of the system that are often on their own. And with that, can remove that duplicate data so you don't have employees in 5 different systems or customers in 5 different systems. The manual processes, similar to the accounts payable routing or the document queue that's come in, or even the training process using those task guides. And then expanding your reporting and availability with Power BI and the drill down functionality for trial balances and other reports in the system. And then having that seamless but secure access using the Microsoft Azure Active Directory to control a single sign-on with multi-factor authentication, full encryption, both at rest and in transit as you're connecting and passing information to the system, whether you're on the go or at your desk using the Microsoft Azure Cloud. So I hope that you've been able to see a lot of that with this webinar and see how an investment in new technology could help you bridge those gaps. And we invite you to join us next month as we do our next webinar that really focuses on that sales and service, that CRM side of it, so you can see how you can grow your relationships and your revenue with your customers, your modern CRM architecture. So with that, we've got a few minutes. I know I could talk for days on this stuff, and some of you have heard me do that before, and I both thank you and apologize at the same time. With that being said, we have a few minutes here. We'd like to open the floor for questions if folks have at this time. Okay, well, as of this point, as at Arctic IT, we appreciate those of you making the time today and attending. We look forward to following up soon. If you have any questions, please, you can reach out to me here. Again, from Arctic IT, thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to talking with you all soon.